Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder if you can tell if someone actually likes you, especially when you first meet them? It is like a constant guessing game, right? Well, this new study dives deep into how we figure out if people like us and what clues we use. Or don't use. That is the big question researchers Jana, Bruns and her team wanted to answer. They looked at the very beginning of meeting someone, that moment of first impressions, and wondered how well we can actually guess how much someone likes us. And why it turns out knowing this stuff is super important for how we act around people, and even how we feel about ourselves. The study's official title hints at what they investigated. They looked at three main things: the other person's appearance, their behavior, and something called reciprocity. Reciprocity is basically the idea that if you like someone, they're likely to like you back. So, they designed this cool experiment where 144 participants met in small groups and got to know each other. They weren't friends beforehand, so it was all about those fresh first impressions. What they did was have everyone introduce themselves for about 90 seconds. Think of it like a mini speed dating event. But in a group after these introductions, everyone rated how much they liked each other person, but they also rated how much they thought each other person liked them. That second part is what they call meta-liking. Then came a really interesting part. They had professionally trained people watch videos of these self-introductions. These raters judged the appearance and behavior of the person introducing themselves. We're talking about things like how confident they looked, if they smiled, how they spoke, and even how they dressed. This provided a really objective measure of what the introducer was actually like. And the crucial question was, how well did the other participants guess what the raters saw? This section dives into the results. They found something pretty neat. People were actually pretty good at guessing if they were generally liked by the group as a whole. It's like having a general vibe check, knowing if the group overall was leaning towards liking you. But, and this is a big but, when it came to knowing if a specific person liked them, people were not so good. It's like knowing the whole crowd likes you, but having no clue if Sarah specifically thinks you are great or not. So how do we make these guesses? This is where the lens model comes in. Imagine a camera lens on one side, you have the actual reality. And on the other, you have what the person perceives. Accuracy happens when the perceiver correctly uses clues from reality to form their judgment. The researchers looked at observable clues. First, the person introducing themselves, their appearance and their behavior. They found that things like having a neat and attractive appearance, or displaying confident and friendly nonverbal cues, and even speaking with a friendly or powerful voice, were good predictors of whether others would like them. It makes sense, right? Looking put together and acting warmly generally makes a good impression. However, here is the surprising part. Even though these behaviors and appearances were valid clues for being liked, the people making the meta-liking judgments didn't really use them consistently. They saw the clues, but they didn't really connect them to their own guess about being liked. It is like seeing that someone is really friendly, but then not using that to assume they must like you. They also looked at the behavior of others towards the person introducing themselves. Did people nod along, smile, or look engaged? This is like direct feedback. But in this study, their behavior towards the person introducing themselves didn't seem to help people guess how much they were liked. Maybe because everyone was instructed to mostly just listen quietly during the introduction. So if people aren't using visual or behavioral clues from others, what are they using? This is where the reciprocity heuristic really shines. The researchers found that people who liked others tended to assume that those others liked them back. And because in this study, there was actual reciprocity, meaning people who liked others were generally liked back. This assumption helped them be more accurate in their general group vibe check. So when it came to knowing if the group generally liked you, the best strategy seemed to be like others and assume they like you back. It is a mental shortcut, a heuristic, that worked pretty well here. Now, what about knowing if a specific person likes you? This is the dyadic meta-accuracy part. The findings here were much weaker. People were not good at guessing who specifically liked them. And again, the reciprocity heuristic played the role. They still assumed specific people liked them if they liked those people. And this helped a bit, but overall, precision was low. So, why don't we use all those behavioral clues better? The researchers suggest a couple of things. First, maybe we're just too overwhelmed in a new social situation to properly pay attention to our own behavior or the subtle cues from others. Our brains are busy just trying to make sense of everything. Second, maybe our own self-perception of our behavior is different from how others see it. Our exploratory analysis showed that what we think we're doing and what others actually see us doing aren't always perfectly aligned. And finally, there is the possibility that we might overemphasize our own minor mistakes. We might dwell on that awkward thing we said, thinking everyone noticed and judged us for it, while the other person totally missed it or didn't care. This could actually lead to us underestimating how much people like us, a phenomenon sometimes called the liking gap. The biggest takeaway from this study is that for general likability, especially in new situations, the reciprocity heuristic is a powerful tool. Simply put, liking other people and assuming they like you back seems to be a pretty effective shortcut for knowing where you stand. We might not be great at reading all the subtle cues, but this simple assumption can guide our social navigation surprisingly well. The researchers also suggest that personality traits like self-esteem might play a bigger role, influencing how we behave and therefore how liked we are, and also how we form our meta-liking judgments. Future research could look more into how our stable personality traits affect our ability to know if we are liked. When it comes to knowing who specifically likes us, the picture is much less clear. We're not great at that, and the reciprocity heuristic helps, but it is far from perfect. This suggests that for deeper connections, we need more than just simple assumptions. We need to really pay attention to individual interactions and feedback. The study has some limitations, of course. It was mostly done with university students, and the interactions were quite structured. In real life, things are messier, and maybe we'd be better at reading signals in more relaxed one-on-one conversations. Plus, this study only looked at liking. How we guess what others think about our personality or trustworthiness might involve different clues and shortcuts. But overall, this research gives us a fascinating glimpse into the often unconscious processes behind our social guesses. It highlights that while we might not be perfect mind readers, we have some effective strategies, even if they're simple ones, to navigate the complex world of first impressions. It is a reminder that sometimes the simplest approach, like being friendly and assuming a friendly return, can be the most effective. What do you think? Do you find yourself relying on the reciprocity heuristic when you meet new people? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more science explained simply, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the fascinating world of psychology. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.